I have officially retired, finally retired, the Shield Plus. And today I'm going to show you what I replaced it with, but make no mistake about it. When it comes to pricing, shootability, concealability, and a gun I absolutely trust my life to, if there was ever a Shooter's Hall of Fame, the Shield Plus would be in there, no doubt. And I've proved this time and time again, not only to myself, but to others. The Shield Plus is the gun to beat when you're talking about micro 9s. It is the perfect size. It's got one of the best triggers, stock triggers, no need to adjust really anything about it. You have plenty of magazine options. And with my Shield Plus specifically, it's not optics ready. And so there's some things that I want to put on my carry gun now that I haven't really been concerned with over the past couple of years. But now I'm ready to make the switch. And so, again, the Shield Plus, still one of the best out there. And so what I've replaced it with is the Shield Plus Performance Center. Now, I made a video, not really like this, but I talked about switching from the regular Shield Plus to the Performance Center last year when I got this thing. And since then, I haven't done anything with it. I mean, I've used it in a couple of videos just for, you know, presentation or representation or maybe sizing comparisons and stuff. But other than that, really haven't done anything with it. So what I first tried to do is put my 407K on there, but I couldn't find any of my plates for this gun specifically. As many Smith & Wessons that I have that are optics ready, most of the plates I have are for all the plates I have, I guess, are for the full size. And so I was like, you know what? I'll put the cover plate back on there. So I needed to figure a couple things out. First of all, when I first took this out to the range, it came with the Crimson Trace. I'm not a fan of that little red dot. I'm just not. And so I had to figure out, when I draw this out of a holster, am I as good with this gun as I am the regular Shield Plus? And so Tolster sent me one of their Oath holsters. That way, whenever I do put an optic on here, I don't have to worry about that. It's already cut out, so no need to swap up holsters. I already got the holster I need. I took the mod wing off. Even though it does help to push that grip in a little bit, I just find it unnecessary. And so I always take them off of the Oath holsters. Super strong clip. So if you're not familiar with my channel, Tolster is what I use. And if you want a discount, I'll leave the link down below so you can check that out. So I got my holster and all of that set up. We went out to the range, and I wanted to make sure again that when I draw this gun out, I'm on target. You can see those shots, man. Consistent. That's what I'm looking for in a carry gun. So I have some of the American Gunner from Hornady. I've actually been using that stuff. It seems like it does a pretty good job. I mean, Spear Gold Dot, Federal HSTs, Hornady Critical Defense. Let's see. The important thing is pulling the gun out of the holster and making sure that my shots are fairly consistent with that ball ammo. At first, when I pulled, and they are. So that's what you want to see when you actually test these guns. Every once in a while, 6 to 8 months, you want to run through carry ammo. Obviously, make sure your carry ammo is working in your gun, but also the grain is going to make a difference too, right? So if you're always running 115 grain at the range, and then you run a 147 or even a 124, those rounds might hit a little bit different. So you want to adjust for that and just try to get it as close as you can to the ball ammo that you're shooting. And as you've seen, I was pretty well on target. I feel very comfortable with this setup. And what was interesting is that we shot a variety of guns that day, from the Mossberg MC2SC to the Stoeger STR9 to the Kel-Tec P15 even. And this was the best shooter on the range that day. It is the most consistent gun that I have when it comes to Micro 9s.
It's consistent.
I'm not saying nothing.
I like the sights.
Okay, good.
That normal?
Yeah, some guns will just do that.
I can see your infatuation.
Okay. There you go. That's all I needed to hear. I've been talking up the Shield Plus so much. This is your first time with the Shield Plus, right?
It is.
Yeah. And results speak for themselves. It looks like I had a little less muzzle rise than the other two.
It does.
One benefit that I have here, and another reason that I switched, is the fiber optic sights. The contrast there is just so good. And you know, yeah, I would prefer something that has a tritium insert and a fiber optic. You know, that would be ideal. But all the way around, these sights are just so much better than the standard sights that come on the Shield Plus. You'll notice that they're kind of ramped like a Novak style. Well, with this style, at least I do have somewhat of a shelf, and while it may not be super high, I can at least pretty much manipulate that off of a belt or a boot if I needed to. My magazine compatibility is the exact same, so 10, 13, and 15 rounds. My trigger is exactly the same, and so you'll notice you hit the wall, boom, brakes, reset, right there. The point of aim is the same, and so just like the Shield Plus, boom, sights are right there. And so I have some clear advantages here because I've used the Shield Plus so much. The transition to this one is not that difficult. I don't have to learn a new trigger. I have the same grip angle. And again, I have a super trustworthy gun. The one difference I do have is a little bit of a tune there from the Performance Center and much better sighting, at least in this configuration. And I do, again, plan on putting some kind of red dot on here. I just got to make sure I get my plates so I can do that. I got a little bit longer barrel, so a little bit better velocity, and that of course does come with a little bit more weight. You know, the Shield Plus is, you know, right there at 17 ounces, while this one is right there at 23. And so, you know, 5 ounces right off the rip makes a pretty big difference. So that's why I went with the Oath, because, you know, I know that carrying in that holster with a good gun belt, even though it does make a difference, it's still something that I can easily do each and every day. And that's something that I will do as well, is when I get a new carry gun, not only do I want to make sure that I'm on target with it. That's the first thing I want to make sure. It's reliable and that I'm on target with it. But I also want to wear it as much as possible. And so when I've been putting this on in the morning, I've just been carrying it all day. I'll sit here, be editing videos, and, you know, have my gun on me because I want to get used to that. And so one adjustment that I've been trying to figure out how I want to do, especially down here in the South in the summertime, is I don't always want to have 2 shirts on. And so that grip texturing, it's fairly aggressive. And so I've, you know, tried to play around with different things to be able to keep this off of my skin, because like I said, it can get a little bit uncomfortable whenever you sit down. So that's just one of the things you got to figure out, some of the joys of concealed carry. So obviously I want to make sure I'm on target with it. I want to make sure that I'm carrying it. And I also want to make sure that my grip angle, as far as the way it sits in my pants, isn't too much different than the Shield Plus that I'm already used to carrying, right? And so when you draw that gun out of a holster, You want to make sure that you know exactly where that grip is, where to get your garment out of the way, so that way you can get the gun on target. So these are some of the things that I've been working on here, and I'm excited to start a new journey with another Shield Plus. Now, they do make a ported version of this gun that I'd really like to get, if I'm being honest with you, but in this configuration, this is one hell of a shooter, man. And so I still stand by the Shield Plus being one of the best guns, if not the best Micro 9 on the market for the money, pound for pound. This thing is fantastic. And hopefully, whenever I switch in the future, we can put this one too in the Shooters Hall of Fame. I'd love to hear your opinion, man. When's the last time you switched up your carry gun, and what did you switch it for? If you like this type of content, maybe you'll like one of these other videos that I've done. And if you like what I do here, consider subscribing. You can even join the channel or join us on Patreon for some pretty cool perks. See you all in the next one. And as always, hold them down.